Hi Sumit, how are you?
Good, Renuka. So we kicked off a new podcast now. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we as always on the International Women's Day, we do run many initiatives, and this is our new initiative for this year.
So whom do you have today?
So we have a really amazing, like an inspirational speaker here. Her name is Tasmia, and let me bring her on our stage and let her introduce herself. So, welcome Tasmia on our GDG London podcast for coming on our episode. So, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yep. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a lovely journey so far with you guys, and I always love the work you guys are doing. As you said, my name is Tasmia Niazi, and I'm an engineering lead for Lloyds Banking Group.
For us also, we were kind of impressed with what you've been doing online, and the stories that we actually shared while we met a couple of times. It's like amazing stuff that you're doing there. So it would be interesting to hear, how was your journey, as such.
Yeah, like a when I met you last time in the event, and then when I heard about your story, I thought this is the thing. We need to tell the people, the woman coming on this the like a leadership role or any that kind of position. The journey is not simple for her. There are different struggles, and we should appreciate that struggle here. So Tasmiya, on that note, could you please share your journey, how you started? Is it your journey was smooth, or is there any hurdle to come to on this point?
I don't think anyone's journey is ever smooth unless they've just like fallen into place and everything's worked out. My background, I did my GCSEs. As you do your GCSEs and everything, and I just felt like I wasn't really made for education. I just felt like I don't get the good marks. Like I understand when I'm in class and everything. I used to get all the maths. I used to understand and I used to do it all right. But then as soon as would sit in an exam, I would get like, oh, everything's gone blank. I don't remember a single thing, and I used to fail. Basically, I never used to really, and then that just demotivated me so badly. I just thought, okay, studies, education is not for me, and rule out that. So I started looking for a job. I wanted to earn my own money. When you're teenagers, you're like, I want to earn my own money. I don't want to ask my dad or my mom for money. So I started just looking for a job. And at that time, I just found a customer assistant in Tesco. I started working night shifts because I was just like, okay, I want to do the night shifts because I will have the day to myself and I can go out and, do all the fun things, spend my money that I've earned. That's what I did. I did that for a couple of years, which was quite, now when I think back at it, I wasted like a lot of years just, in that vicious circle because when you're working, you're just earning your money and then you're like kind of used to okay, this is getting me by and I want to do this. Then I just felt like my life had stopped at a point where I was just in that vicious circle that I'm talking about, and I was like, I think I should revisit, like maybe doing something with my life, building a career or doing something with my life, because this isn't feasible, like working nights and then just spending the money in the daytime, and it just didn't feel productive to me. So I started looking into careers, then into actually where do I want to start, and then what career do I want to go into. So I had a couple of options, which I'm glad still went with tech, because I had a look at doctors. So I wanted to go into doctorate and to become a doctor. That was one of my really big passions. I was like, oh, actually, if I'm going back into education, why don't I look into doctorate? Then I also looked into lawyer as well. So I'm glad I didn't choose. And then one was tech as well. So there were three fields that I was looking into. Both of those fields, I'm glad I didn't choose, because it's a lot of the automation has happened with tech and they've been overtaken by tech. So I'm glad I stuck with tech, because it was just, I'm good at it, I guess, and it's the way the whole world is going. So I went with tech, and then I did like an access course. So that was in the end, my goal was to do an undergraduate, and I chose tech. It wasn't obviously as easy as I'm saying now. Like, okay, I've got three options, and I've just gone for tech. I did research into doctorate, and then once I crossed that out, I did research, so I understood I had to have like a GCSEs. How long is it going to take me to become a general practitioner? I did all the investigation into it, and I think it turned out it was going to be like 6 to 7, 8 years I would need to invest before I would actually have a position or be in a position where I'm quite like a GP or a surgeon. I did the same for a lawyer as well. I wanted to, my main end goal was to become like a barrister. So that was again going to take me like 7 to 8 years easily. And then there's a lot of, with barristers, lawyers, there's a lot of like, nitty gritty that you have to go into, how you're going to win a case, how it's very hard to, justify your client is correct. And so I did a lot of investigation, and I have a couple of cousins who are lawyers and solicitors and barristers. So then I also spoke to them, and I didn't really feel like this was going to be a good thing. So obviously it wasn't overnight. I just said, okay, forget those two careers and let's go for tech. There was a lot of discussion, and but then I finally landed on tech, and I just felt like because I had already previously done like a CCNA course, so I started from hardware. I had just done that for fun. That was just something I looked into, and then I recalled when I was looking into tech, I was like, I've done that, so I feel like hardware, software, it would be similar. Little did I know it's not going to be similar, but I had an understanding of what I was getting myself into. So then I started. I looked at doing an access course, so that was an intense 2-year course into one. So that was going to get me the distinction points and the UCAS points I needed to apply for university. So that's why I had to do that course. I was working the nights, and then I was able to do the course in the daytime. So I would work 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then my class would start at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I would quickly rush home from the 6 a.m., have a shower, just freshen up. Maybe like I used to have a half an hour sleep, and I used to go to the class, go to my class, which started at 9 to about 5, 9 to 5 normal classes. Full day intense classes, and I remember when I used to come back home, just literally 1 hour sleep, have something to eat, and then go back to work. That was where the struggle started, and I was like, okay, I had assignments, I had exams that I needed to be preparing, so I started doing those as well alongside. And that's where it's the first exam that I gave, I got really good marks. I got like 90 plus, and I was like, what? This is like, from what I remember of me being really bad at GCSEs, now getting a 90 plus. I was like, this is weird. And then that's where my confidence started to build. And then I slowly became like a student rep in my class. I started mentoring other students because obviously, like now I'm talking, I was older than the other students as well, so I was much more, like, I would say I was maturer than them. And once I finished it, I think I got 144 UCAS points, which was like the highest you could get. So I applied for
Wow.
universities. Yeah, I started applying for universities. I got into University of Greenwich and King's College London, which was really hard to get into at that time. And then I was just like researching. One day I just sat down and I was researching. I was like, it can't just be university. And if I had gone to university, I would have done 3 years plus the 1 year like a industrial placement, because obviously you need to have that hands-on experience. Because if you've just done a degree, it's not very valuable. And I mean, now we can see that how apprenticeships are really valuable, but at that time it wasn't. Even at university they never spoke about apprenticeships. My
Okay.
college never told me about apprenticeships. It wasn't popular at that time, so I was just researching and I came across apprenticeships. And then that's where, when I applied for Lloyds Bank, and I also applied for like then I just started applying for all the apprenticeships that were available. Bank of America, I got accepted for that as well, and BT. But with Lloyds, when I spoke to one of their like recruitment um, and the team that I spoke to at the apprenticeships, when I went for the assessment, the whole day assessment, it just felt like a family oriented company. The support they were giving, like, and it aligned a lot to my values as well. And I'm still here, so obviously there's something right that's happening with Lloyds, and now it's like 6.5 years that I'm here. So um,
That's a
yeah,
good long journey, actually. Interesting one.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
yes.
So in this space, I know, had any mentors or role models or someone who, because you did a lot of research yourself, or if you have to tell someone, what to focus on, because there's so many different. First of all, you were trying different verticals, like maybe go into being a lawyer or doctor
Yeah.
or tech. So was there anyone guiding you, the guy, the angel, guiding angel?
Yeah, I think mainly the thing is, like they say, network, and I totally understand. Like networking is very important, and understanding other people's views as well. So a lot of that is what I did. Um, a lot of it came from like researching online, meeting up. So I had a couple of family friends who were lawyers, barristers, so I engaged with them, understood, what kind of, and most of it was research. I did a lot of research. Now we have like such amazing AI tools that can help you and guide you even in your career. Like if you ask ChatGPT, what shall I become next? I've done a actually video on LinkedIn that I asked it like, how do you see me, or how do you know about Tasmia? What do you think my daily life looks like? And it drew a really good picture, which I'm still quite phased about, like how much it knows about me, which is quite scary. But I think a lot of the passion has to come from within yourself. Like you have to be very motivated, driven, self-driven. Like even recently, I went to a networking session for mentoring. Individuals, like this was in Leeds, and I just a lot of them said, oh, I want to know how can I get into tech, or how can I do this, and I was like, you need to have that self-driven motivation. Like research every single place that you can see on YouTube videos. Like if it's something related to tech, you know um, do the research, do watch YouTube videos. Then once you have that understanding, then you can actually reach out to individuals. Like just reach out to people on LinkedIn, reach out to someone, or there's so many platforms now that you can reach out to people. I did actually reach out to a couple of people online as well, just doctors, and understand like if this is something what I wanted to do. Even a lot of the events at that time were in-person events that I went to. So tech-related events. I went to summits, and then I also went to um, like these tech events that we have. The
Yeah.
GDG London does an excellent job of hosting like monthly meetups. Even Meetup itself, you can host a lot of even just attending these events and understanding. You don't have to go into that domain, or like say if it's for SRE or DevOps, you don't have to go into SRE or DevOps, but you can just attend and interact with other people and understand, and that's connections you're making, which is very valuable.
I think she has spoken really like the good point here, Sumit. Like we have seen that in the many conferences we can't see that many presence of women in the conferences. So I think this is a good tips for who are listening to us, that how Tasmiha choose like taking some years after that she want to become some kind of professional, and she choose the career in IT, right? And then she tried to go out on her like a the family schedule, or like a cocoon, like she can go out and try something new. So there is a that's if you didn't try anything, you don't get access to the other world, right? That is what I think. This is a really good point you discuss here, Tasmia.
Yeah,
So, Tasmi,
yeah,
I
and
have one question here. Like
yeah, sure, go
now
on.
you are settled down in your role and you are giving a talk in many conferences. But what do you think? Like, is still you have any kind of struggle? You're seeing the woman in that role. So, like, because we have heard about your journey to up till here, but is there any kind of struggle right now? You think that woman is still getting some kind of struggle? Still she reached to this point. So let's
Yeah,
maybe that is a good point to talk now.
yeah. Even in my organization, like I'm still struggling. Like I'm still struggling to be heard. The thing that Lloyds Bank is doing really good, and I think other organizations should be doing that. At leadership level, they are promoting. They have like a benchmark. So, say for example, 55% of our top leadership should be having um, um, like BAME or ethnic minority female individuals. So that's one goal that they're actually working towards. And even now my line manager, he just praises me so much. Like, he brings my story to the limelight because I recently just returned from mat leave, so I've had two children in whilst I was doing my undergraduate and my masters, and
Mhm.
within the bank, or like like my journey has just been, they just keep on saying like, I don't know how you've done it, and I still don't know how I've done it. And I think that's the main thing. Women underestimate ourselves. Like, even when I was coming back, like I had 6 months mat leave, and my line manager just kept on saying, "You're not going to come back after 6 months." I was like, "I'm coming back," and he was like, "No, no, no. Every woman says that when she leaves, but then she doesn't come back." And they don't come back that early. They take the 1 year off, or then sometimes they don't even come back at all. And I was like, no, no, I've worked so hard for my career. I've worked so hard. I'm passionate, and I'm so passionate about my journey that I wouldn't lose it over. Like, I understand that's the thing. Like, women, we have to balance both. Like, we feel that guilt inside. Like, oh, okay, I have to leave my child at home, or even now I feel the guilt. Like, I'm back at work and I'm unable to spend time with my 7-month-old baby. But the thing is, I'm being a role model for her. I need to keep that in my mind. If I don't, if I just, I can easily, just stop working, sit at home, look after the baby. But then what would she, who would be her role model? Who would she look up to? Who would she see as an example? Like, she won't see all the hard work that I've done, because she'll be like, okay, it's easy. We'll just get on. You just get your career delivered on a plate, or you don't have to work as hard. But my daughter, like my other daughter, she's 5 years old, and she's actually been with me every stage. And the reason why I take her is because I want her to see the struggle that I'm doing, and I want her to gain that confidence at such a young age, that when she's in my, she doesn't have to go through the struggles or the imposter syndrome that I went through. And she's kind of like up and running already. So I feel like, again, we need to be that. I didn't have that role model. My mum wasn't from, like, she didn't have a career. She just, how back then, mothers then didn't have a career, and they just did the housework and the house life. And coming from like an ethnic minority background, I want to be empowered, and I want to be that voice for women, that we can do it. And even now, like, I speak to, it's not only from our backgrounds, it's from other, like, British people, from like China. I've spoken to so many different diverse perspectives of individuals or women, and they are all struggling in different ways, and they're all thinking, oh, we're not as good as our male counterparts. And why do we have that in our brain when men don't have that in their brain, when they don't think, someone said this, and I hold it to my heart, and I hope the audience holds it to their heart. Like, when you're applying for a job, a male would say, like, okay, two of these things I meet, the rest five I don't meet, I'm still going to apply for it. But whereas us women, we'll be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't meet all five of them, I'm not applying for it. And one of my mentors said that to me when I was actually applying for my current role, and she said, like, this is the feeling, this is and I actually wasn't, and I really felt that, oh no, I don't meet this, I don't meet this. And one day I was just sitting with my husband, and I was like, no, no, I'm not applying for that. And I literally saw him apply for it, and I was like, what? How can you apply for it when I've said I just don't meet all those requirements, and you've just applied for it? And that's where it, like, it really embedded into me. I was like, they don't think twice, so why do we have to think? Why do we have to say I want to be meeting all those five requirements? And I think that's something every woman should just, like, forget it, take it out of your brain. Like, if they can do it, we can do it. And that is one of the things why I returned to work early. I was just like, I need to be up and running. And I think when we sacrifice on some things, and when we see the productivity, or the like the reward at the end of the day, I think those sacrifices that we've made definitely make it all worth it at the end. And I think any advice for anyone would just be like, don't feel the guilt of, like, the parent guilt. Don't let it get to you, because it doesn't work for men, so why should it work for us? And at the end of the day, we are only doing this for our children, for our, we're being a role model for them. So in a way, you're kind of like making it better for them. So yeah.
On the tail end of that question, like, if you actually have to change something, like, there's so many, so your organization is helping you, people are helping you nowadays. And I think the world is kind of also accepting the fact that, you should, like, we should empower more people more, and then also give more opportunities. So What do you think women today can support, like, to uplift each other? How many female leaders do you have within your organization or with around you, I would say?
Yeah. Within the organization, we have like a dedicated Women Connect Tech. So every month you can join that. Outside of the organization, I've met so many women like outside of the organization that I've actually kept in touch with through LinkedIn as well. And even within the bank, I think that's again why I'm still within the bank, is because I've actually made connections with people on a personal level rather than this is my boss, or she's at a senior level than me and I need to um, only talk to her when I'm at work. I have their WhatsApp numbers. I WhatsApp them. I WhatsApp them. I talk to them about, my child isn't eating well today, or what shall I do? So that kind of the network is very important. And I was having this discussion with someone the other day, and she was like, "But everyone says you need to network. You need to network, but I don't feel any benefit of actually networking. I just feel like it's more of a buzzword than actually finding a benefit." And I was like, how many when you've gone to a networking event, how many times have you reached out to that person afterwards? She's like, I haven't really done that. I was like, okay, that's the first mistake, because you haven't reached out to that person afterwards. They've probably got other things they're doing as well. Everyone's very busy, so you haven't gone back and made that connection with them or followed up. So you need to follow up. You need to do that. The following up is the main part, and that's where that the relationship gets established, and then that's where you actually can make someone really, someone can actually get involved in your daily struggles, your life, your personal life, your professional life. So that's where they can actually start implementing some kind of changes. So I think, again, within your organization is very important. People who are not working, find you can even like I think now there's like you can even actually find people who can mentor you. So even within the bank, we have like an internal list that you can find mentors for yourself. So I did actually reach out to a couple of people when I was in my career, early stages of my career, and I've made very successful relationships with them outside of the bank as well, like external websites. You can actually find um, mentors. But yeah, I think LinkedIn is such a powerful tool nowadays, and I think everyone should be making use of it. If you go to an event, you just scan a code and you're linked and you're connected with that person, then you can actually send them a message afterwards and follow up. And I think everyone's very open to helping. Like even now, up until now, I do like free sessions for mentoring as well. I just help people because like I've got a story and I've gone through all those hardships, and I don't really, especially when it comes to women, I don't really want women to go through that again. And seeing as we're talking on International Women's Day, and it's just, I know already we have so many doubts in our brain. Like as women, we just question every single thing like 10 times more. So I think having that power, having that person to go to when you have those doubts is very important. So, they just clear them within a second. So I still do those mentoring sessions. I still just to help people, career advice, CV advice, just go over your CV. How do you think, what courses can I do? All kinds, where can I apply to? So, I just do those as a, giving back ways.
So that's amazing. Like you are mentoring the people, you're helping other, and you understand the basic means of what is the networking and what is the community help you to grow basically. And in at GDG London, we are trying to do that. Like why we are doing so many events every month, that we want to connect with the new people. We want to mentor them to learn the new things from the tech side, because tech is changing very fast now. So to come like the just go with the flow, we need to empower them with the new knowledge, new things basically, and that is what we are trying here in the GDG London platform. So other thing that like how we have talked about the Tasmia story, right, Sumit? So this is our initiative to bring the such women on our platform who can talk about their story and inspire the others, so that is anybody out there who is struggling with such things, who are struggling to take some decision, who are struggling to network with someone, so they can hear this story and they can learn something from this and they can success in their career. So I think this is our initiative. Sumit, do you want to say some last words for this podcast?
Be bold, help each other. I think that's what you're saying. Share stories. I feel like talking about this openly, and this was kind of an unfiltered conversation. No, although we talked about the organization that you're working on, your personal life, and everything, they get inspired by, yes, okay, that's exactly what is happening within or around me. And the stories are interesting, like this is an interesting journey. And I'm always amazed when we have things like this, or when we actually use a platform where we can understand, the real person behind, the mask that we wear, behind LinkedIn. Yeah, that
I
was
think
that was very interesting, very helpful, and I hope you inspire more, and then keep on the mentoring sessions, and guide all the females around you, and also males. So we
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's another thing. I would like to mention, like the GDG London, the community that you're doing. So every month you hold those monthly meetups, and apart from that, they do so many like Flutter Dev courses. I saw them the other day. I was like so intrigued to sign up to one of them. So even just like these kind of courses, they just help you. Like even if you don't want a career in Flutter, you can still attend those courses, and you're going with some kind of knowledge, and it's very valuable, especially nowadays. And I'm glad that we're back to in-person events, because before it was just all online. So I think you guys need to keep up with the amazing job, and definitely keep on hosting more events, because that's where people do come out when they're struggling, and they do kind of meet other people as well over there. And if anyone, again, from this podcast reaches out to you, and just you can reach out to me as well, if you're struggling, or attend one of the events, and we'll all be there. So we can help you face to face as well. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank
So
you so much, Tasmia. Yeah,
you mentioned they can connect with you on
yeah.
LinkedIn, Twitter. You're everywhere.
I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok. I have to say, I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok,
Nice.
YouTube. I'm on like yeah, I'm not on Instagram or or Twitter just
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. All right. We'll ask you for those handles, and then we'll share it along with the video.
For coming here on our platform and helping for this initiative and inspire more women with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.